On May 8th, 1997, I was 16 years old, and I was volunteering at the local clothing shop in town. And a gentleman of about 30 years of age came in looking to furnish his apartment. So a few of us volunteers had helped him pick out some things and bring them back to his apartment. And I just happened to be one of those volunteers. And after the others left, he sexually assaulted me. I reported to the police right after it happened. I filled out a report and their investigation began. At first he denied the whole thing, but after further questioning with the police, he finally admitted what happened. It was a long few months for the court proceedings, but eventually the charges were dropped, and I never knew why until 2009. My family and my psychologist swept the whole thing under the rug. I was struggling with suicide. I didn't know how to deal with what was going on, and nobody around me was wanting to deal with what happened. I finally began to do the same thing. I no longer wanted to admit what happened, and and if we did it, I was only vague about it, if I was asked. It was as though the people around me wanted to diminish what happened and silence it. As time went on, the pain of what happened came out in many different forms. I was looking for validation, love, and acceptance. My self-esteem was low, and I never found any fulfillment. I had struggled for many years with bad decisions. In August of 2007, I became a born-again Christian, and this is when many years of bad decisions started coming to the surface and needing to be dealt with. I was so lost and confused, I didn't know where to start. But I was blessed to have Sandy, Charlotte, and Jan in my life at that time to mentor me and walk with me. It was slow going at first, but then as I continued to take steps with the Lord, things became clearer. It didn't necessarily become easier. In many ways, it actually became harder. I was looked at like I was the same person that I was before by the people who've known me my entire life. In essence, I was the same person, but still a new creation in Christ. People thought that I was better than everyone else. In reality, I didn't look at myself as any better. It was the hardest with my family. My family seemed as they were struggling with the changes that I was trying to make in my life. I came to new beginnings after hearing about their services in church one Sunday. My first meeting with Rhonda was July 20th of this year. We started out of darkness services, which opened my eyes to how God really sees me. Because of this, I have been able to give my family over and know they are in God's hands and not mine. I have also been given many opportunities to pray for people, and unbeknownst to me, an inspiration. Now, I can't even imagine where my life would be if I had said something to Rhonda and Penny that Sunday morning about needing help to deal with the sexual assault.
I grew up very poor and with a very abusive father and adopted, wine and dime addicted, depressed mother. My father abused me emotionally, verbally, physically, and sexually. From before I can remember until I was 18 and left the home. I spent a good chunk of my life on many different psychotropic meds, in the hospital, and therapy. I was messed up. The current statistics for America say that 1 in 4 girls have some kind of sexual trauma at some point in their lives, as a child, a teen, or a young adult. Our statistics at New Beginnings are 1 in 2. So half the people we see have had some kind of sexual trauma. People who have had sexual trauma have a filter that all of our subsequent experiences go through, and it colors how we see everything. Often we don't see people who have had sexual trauma at New Beginnings until they've had an unplanned pregnancy, after they decided they were worthless and were trying to feel loved in any way they could possibly do it. Many people who have had sexual trauma look to self-help books or ways to get better or ways to get over it, but they don't find complete healing. Many still have a lot of pain that remains hidden in the darkness of secrecy, and that's right where Satan wants it to stay. Satan wants us in bondage to our past hurts. Many have also looked to counselors, but not found complete healing either. In biblical times, people used clay pots as lamps. And they didn't go to the new clay pot store and get a nice, unbroken, unblemished pot to put their candles in. Or else they would have had maybe a little light coming out the top. I don't know, there is a candle in there, but can't really see it. But mostly darkness because no light would shine out with any broken holes in the side. No, people looking for lamps went to the pile of broken pottery out back, where people had thrown all the broken stuff they didn't want. Because when they put the candles in the broken pots, the light shined out beautifully, and they could see. We are the same way. Those of us who have had sexual trauma or any trauma may at first look like old broken pots that need to be thrown out back because we can't be used. In reality, though, God can put His light into those of us who have been broken, and His light shines out more beautifully and interestingly and radiantly and completely. I don't want to be foolish in what I do at New Beginnings or anywhere, and I don't want to just tell people what the world is telling them, because what the world is telling them doesn't work. It would make me and New Beginnings irrelevant. The world emphasizes self-discovery. We will never discover who we are by analyzing our past, our environment, our job, our family history, or the people we know. We don't need to look inward. The answer to who we are lies in the heart of God. Only by seeking His face and understanding who He is will we know who we are. My prayer is that the people I meet with will really seek and find God, find true healing, have the joy of the Lord, and be able to fulfill the perfect plan God has for their lives because He has worked their brokenness for good.